Mike Novogratz from Galaxy Digital is talking with Kyle Chase about the XRP community specifically. What did he say here? Kind of is, I'm gonna let you be the judge, but we're gonna get into this. I'm also going to correct a few things that Mike says incorrectly here. Let's go ahead and get into it. We also have some news that Swift is building a cash wallet. Will XRP be able to be used? We're gonna talk about that after. Got a few other things in between, but let's start here.
I mean, the perfect example of that is XRP. XRP has one of the strongest communities there is.
Yep.
And you want to learn about it, say something bad about them.
Yeah.
People will be out in front of your house with picket signs protesting you.
Yep.
Those community members love their token. They have a narrative that's going to be payments and, right? We can look at how much use cases on the blockchain. It's not nearly as much as on Solana, right? Small. It doesn't matter for their value proposition right now. Their value proposition is the intensity of that community. And that's with the parent company selling tokens.
Okay, first of all, if you had a boardroom, put yourself in the financial institution seat. You are the head of a bank. In one boardroom, you have Solana. The other boardroom, you have Ripple, right? They're both can solve some of your pain points with either stable coins or institutional payments, whatever it is, okay? 50%, over 50% of all trading volume on Solana is meme coins, scams, degenerate stuff. Ripple, they are at the adult table, the serious table. They were invited into the Downing Street for the US-UK transatlantic partnership on digital assets. Who was in that meeting? It was Coinbase, it was Ripple, it was Circle, and it was some of the biggest financial institutions in the world like Citi and Barclays. Was Solana invited to the meeting? Oh no, they weren't. Mike just gets under my skin sometimes with the garbage he feeds people because he's highly invested in Solana. He isn't highly invested in XRP. So he's gonna say and do anything to get people to sell their XRP, to buy Solana, to pump his bags so he can dump on you. That's exactly what he did with Bitcoin. He went out there and shilled Bitcoin. People bought it up. He dumped his Bitcoin on you to go buy Ethereum. He's gonna pump it up. He's gonna go and dump his Ethereum on you so he can buy Solana. He's gonna do the same thing over and over again. He's gonna tell you whatever you need to hear so he can make a buck, so his company can stay relevant. That is Mike Novogratz in a nutshell.
Think about that. That's how strong their community is. I wish I had a community like that to fight for me. You know, I want the Galaxy shareholders to be as passionate as the XRP token holders. And
they're not as passionate about you, Mike, because I think that's pretty clear, right? The people at Ripple instill leadership, right? The community looks at the Ripple team and sees hard work. They see success. They see people going to bat for the community. What have you actually done for any of these crypto communities other than dump on them? And when you say that Ripple is selling XRP, fine. So is BNB, so is Solana, so is Ethereum, so is the early creators and early people in Bitcoin. So what? Tron, right? You don't think Justin Sun's dumping Tron to fund all of his other stuff? CZ isn't dumping BNB? Come on, bro.
I used to dismiss that. And then I realized, what the hell? That is half of what crypto is. Yeah. And it came from the fact that after 2008, people didn't trust governments. Look at the trust in government graph. Look at the trust. Watch that Charlie Kirk funeral between Democrats and Republicans. You can't even agree on a goddamn funeral. Right. Was it a nice funeral or not? You know, like, let's fight over the dinner table around the quality of the funeral. Like, we have so little trust that we're finding trust in these online crypto communities. And that's why people get tattoos. I've reported 1 2 men.
Yeah.
Right? No one gets tattoos about their stock.
Not yet. Tesla probably, right?
It's become a crypto. It's a community. It's a cult.
It's a cult. Yeah. And I think
all the crypto that are successful are cults.
I think it's so interesting how we're starting to see more of, like you said, the crypto cult-like coming into the equities world, and how you hope that people are, holding Galaxy, just like, people are holding XRP.
The resilience. I didn't think XRP would last after the lawsuits and all it did. And it's stronger. It's actually been the best token you could have bought post-election.
And here's the truth, right? He didn't He didn't see what we all saw. He didn't care. He was off bad-mouthing XRP at every single turn of the lawsuit. I could go back and show you 100 clips of Mike Novogratz trashing Ripple and XRP during the lawsuit because he didn't think they were going to make it through. And he wanted to be the person to say, I told you so. He didn't buy it, didn't participate, didn't care. And now XRP is the best performing asset since Trump took over. You look silly to me, Mike. You look silly.
Yeah.
Like, who would have ever guessed that? The resilience of these communities, because it's almost irrational. I'm an Oracle guy. I like Oracle when it's cheap. I don't like it when it's expensive. You've never heard an XRP army guy think XRP is expensive.
Never.
They just want to be an XRP. Bitcoin I've got one employee who loves Bitcoin so much. I was thinking if Bitcoin went away, he would have almost no purpose in life. Like, his purpose is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Bitcoin conferences, they talk Bitcoin, they keep their wealth in how many coins they have. And I'm not bad-mouthing it. It's a phenomena that has happened based on the fact that trust elsewhere is just, hit the shitter.
Yeah. Well, back to the XRP thing too quickly. I was doing some research for a video a month or two ago, and people think XRP is very cheap at $3 because if it gets to the same price Bitcoin's at one day, imagine the upside that's there,
Listen.
What? Name a YouTube channel. Zach Rector, not talking about $100,000 XRP. Jay Claver doesn't talk about 100,000. Digital Asset Investor, Digital Perspectives. Brad Kimes doesn't talk about it. Mikkel doesn't talk about it, right? Oscar Ramos doesn't talk about $100,000 XRP. So all of the serious people that are creating XRP content online right now on YouTube, none of them are talking about $100,000 XRP. Where's he getting his research from? Kyle, I thought you were a smart entrepreneur person, right? Where are you getting research from? These guys are just,
Brad Garlinghouse has done a world-class job of navigating these lawsuits, of keeping that community. Like, I used to get angry about it because I was like, oh, it's not Bitcoin. It's not as decentralized. It's like, who am I to judge where people want to store their money, right? If you were a Bitcoiner, you said, don't judge me if I want to store my money in this community.
All right, that's as much as I can take on these two, man. Not a great interview. Sorry, guys. Jeff Booth, one of the most famous Canadian authors, entrepreneurs, investor, drops it straight. XRP is essentially replacing the banking system. Let's play this.
But the application of the idea inside a closed system couldn't work. And so now, and these are the nuances of this discussion. So I'm not a every single person in crypto is a scammer, because I don't even know if they know they are. Some of them are good people trying to do good work, but now XRP is essentially, I'm going to replicate something for the banking industry and the governments. Well, the banking industry lends money into existence and charges an interest rate, which is the system that, so when there was no cost for the money that got lent into existence, and the person borrowing the money is paying an interest rate forever, which is the existing system that we live in. So how could you solve that problem from that system by enabling the players within that system? Seems kind of ludicrous. It's exactly the opposite of a decentralized, secure system repricing the world.
Okay, if you're interested who the heck this guy is, Jeff Booth is a well-known Canadian author, entrepreneur, and investor recognized for visionary leadership and forward-thinking perspective on technology and economy. So if you're interested in hearing more, listening more, please do. I did think this was great. I had this in another video that I made today. This is an NBA star, Tristan Thompson, talking about XRP, man. This is great. I love this.
Teammates have started noticing this. They ask questions now, and guys are like, do I get more XRP? Do I buy more ETH? So literally guys are texting me and then in a group chat saying yo, it's pumping. Yeah, go should I do? I'm like, hold it. Long term, guys. Think long. The same way you bet on yourself to get to the NBA, you got to bet on these coins and bet on the space. Bet on what the future of digital finance is. Bet on that's what's going to be our kids. That's the form of they're not going to be walking into these banks and these institutions. They're going to be literally having their wallets and being on a computer and literally managing their finance like this.
This is what we want role models doing, right? How many people look up to Tristan Thompson and other NBA players, right? It doesn't even have to just be NBA. It could be any sport, right? You got kids, you got young adults, you got older, boomers that love this person, right? And other people like this. This is what we need. Positive reinforcement, telling people what's actually going on, telling people to hold long term. These are fantastic. I couldn't be happier about seeing this clip, man. This is awesome. This is awesome. All right. Smoke says it's official. The Swift ISO 20022 November 2025 release will include blockchain cash wallet feature for ISO 20022 messages for the first time. Swift is finally moving to upgrade its system to handle digital asset transactions. So here is the post from Sharat Chandra. All good. He's blockchain and emerging tech evangelist. And so it says ISO 20022 2025 release include a blockchain cash wallet feature for ISO 20022 messages, blockchain wallet where digital currencies are maintained. And so here is that. I did put this into Perplexity to find out a little bit more information. And so This upgrade lets banks and financial institutions use ISO 20022 messages to reference blockchain wallet addresses, digital token identifiers, oracles, and other distributed ledger features for the first time. Swift shifts include real support for digital wallets, enabling settlement and digital assets and tokenized currencies, which means networks such as stablecoins, CBDCs, and third-party crypto assets can participate in cross-border payments and settlements. Swift is building an orchestration layer, not launching its own native currency, so interoperability will allow messaging between fiat and digital assets. Will XRP be involved? XRP and Ripple XRP are specifically referenced across analyst reports and crypto industry commentary as clear beneficiaries to this upgrade. RippleNet, which utilizes XRP for its on-demand liquidity service, is already ISO 20022 compliant. Remember, RippleNet is what is ISO compliant. It's not the token, it's actually RippleNet. The processes massive payment volumes by bridging fiat and digital value. Swift's upgrade doesn't exclusively name XRP integration, but prepares the global messaging backbone to interoperate with any ISO 20022 capable digital assets. So it doesn't specifically mention or name it, but it is going to be ISO compliant, which will it be? You can use XRP through RippleNet system. Banks testing these features are evaluating both Ripple technology and rival blockchains, and experts agree that XRP is uniquely positioned for its new environment given its speed, cost efficiency, and native messaging capability. Love to hear that. And here's a video here talking about, it's a confidential webinar, reveals 91% of financial institutions will be migrated to ISO by November of this year. Check us out.
So I think it's a lot of effort for us to learn that. There's a lot of legacy systems, and really kind of, again, one of the great benefits of the ISO 20022 migration, the reason why we're seeing this and we're the whole global community, because as you said, the instant payment systems in a lot of countries have already been on ISO 20022, but the reason why we're doing it in the cross-border space is really for that richer data. Just as an example, I always like to point out the MT103 is around 2,000 characters versus the PAX 08 is over 8,000 characters. So having so much more richer data in there, it takes effort. It does take a lot of work. And I think that's the reason that we're seeing it. But what I will say is when we come down to the ISO adoption, we're at 38.5% right now. Obviously, a lot of countries are going with their local market infrastructures, which maybe causes, is reason why we're not at, maybe higher. But, we do Swift, we are interviewing the top 175 institutions on a quarterly basis. And, they're all, and those cover around 86% of our total traffic. And they are telling us that, they will be ready, we'll be sending 100% native ISO by November. So we do fully expect to see a huge number of our clients ready by November, even if we're only at 38.5% right now.
Okay. Really quickly, I think they're much higher now. I think this is probably an older video. They are probably somewhere between 50 and 60% at this time, but 90% by November. They might actually be a little bit higher now that we're almost in October. But what I want to talk about here is Swift has sped up payments. So most payments happen in 10 minutes or the first hour or even the first day. It's like 90% of all Swift payments through Swift GPI happen pretty quickly now. The issue still is the cost, right? And if you can use something like XRP or RLUSD and you have even the same speed, but the cost is 95 or 98% cheaper to use these Ripple solutions, if you're a financial institution and you're losing billions of dollars in the bond market, where are you going to make up the rest of that money? You need to make it up on bringing the cost of payments down. The best way to do that is through blockchain. All right, guys, I'll leave that with you. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. I'm Crypto Sensei. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time. Aloha.